But after a while, as I stared into the mirror, the reflection seemed to lose its sharpness. Now I found myself staring at vague shapes, blurred colors, deepening shadows. And then I heard the soft whisper. Max. Like the wind through the trees, the hushed shaking of leaves. Not a voice at all, not even a whisper. Just the hint of a whisper. Max. At first I thought it was inside my own head, so faint, so soft, but so near. I held my breath, listened hard. Silence now. So it was inside my head, I told myself. I was imagining it. I took a deep breath, let it out slowly.
Hey, Max.
Again, the whisper, louder this time, sad somehow, almost a plea, a call for help from far, far away.
You can't scare me, not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy calling all
Boo-dudes.
Boo-doo!
Welcome to Calling All Creeps. Thanks for taking the RL time to be with us.
And Scary New Year.
Yeah, Scary New Year to you all. I hope you had a slappy holiday.
Yeah.
I'm Matt here with my co-host Dave.
That's me.
And we're here today to bring you book number 6, though episode 7.
Technically,
Yeah.
I just made the other one special holiday. It's unlisted so
Yeah.
that they're all together, but it's there.
Yeah.
Technically episode 7. I had
Yeah.
fun on my Christmas Eve episode. How about you?
Yeah, I had a great time.
Nice.
How are you doing today?
I'm pretty grand.
Yeah.
It's a little rainy out, so I'm
It's a
dripping
little
wet.
rainy. Yeah. I feel a little vexed.
Do you?
Yeah. I wore a natural deodorant today.
Did you?
So I have two choices. When I have a day off, I figure I don't need the regular deodorant because I'm not going to be like around people at work. So I can wear the natural deodorant, which is not as potent. And I'm a stinky man. Dave, you know this.
I do.
Yeah, everything about me stinks. So, but it's warm today. It's raining, as you said, and it's like
Humid.
55. Yeah, so I've been sweating all day, and I probably fucking stink.
I don't think you stink.
Thanks.
I might just be used to it, though.
That's true.
I don't know. One
have
second.
an
Smell
aroma.
my forehead. That's some good Foley work. But how was your? Well, I guess New Year's. This is gonna come out after New Year's.
Yes,
I'm guessing.
yeah.
Well, how was your New Year's?
It was good, man. I mean, we really welcome the new year. It should be another bad year.
No, this one's gonna be good.
This one's gonna be good.
This one's gonna be good.
Oh
You hear?
no,
Oh,
I
this
haven't
is the
been
good
told.
one. This is the good one. 2019.
Okay, cool. How was your
great.
New Year's?
It was good.
Yeah,
I drank a lot of beers. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Hung out with
Probably.
the lady and the Mozart.
Awesome.
So it was nice.
Yeah.
Chicago's a great place. Hopefully, I didn't die.
Yeah.
If I didn't die, then I don't want spoilers. Just write that I died after.
Well,
this
you will
episode.
have gotten invisible then if you died.
Oh, yeah, that's the book we're doing.
Yep, it's our little transition.
Yeah. So this book, we have a lot to talk about that doesn't have to do with this book because nothing really happens in this book.
Well, yeah, the same thing happens again and again.
Yeah. This book could have been 30 pages, maybe?
Sure.
40 pages?
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of, 138?
Yeah. Yep. And because the
138,
climax, as with all Goosebumps books, the climax is like 2 pages.
Yeah. With me, it's like a tweet.
Climax for me is 3 dots. It's just an ellipsis.
Because it goes on forever?
Good point. It's a full stop. It's a period.
It's a semicolon.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about your life choices after.
Cool. Yeah. So let's get invisible. This was 1993.
It was March of 1993. Would you like to go time and place?
Yeah. Let's time and place it.
Song, as you knew, Aladdin tore up America's asshole.
Yeah.
The
Still
past 2 months.
going
No,
strong?
it's not. This is the song, but A Whole New World by Peebo Bryson and Regina Bell.
Okay.
That's top song for 1 week, first week, which of course off the movie, kids
Yeah.
like that. But top 3 weeks of March was Snow, Informer by Snow. Do you know that song?
No.
You don't
By
know?
Snow?
By Snow.
I don't even know who Snow is.
Are you kidding me?
No.
So Snow was a reggae star, and he made this song called Informer, and it's like Informer, and then he says a licky boom boom down,
Oh.
and everybody loved him. And then his music video came out, and he's like the whitest guy with like little circle glasses
yes.
and like a fade haircut.
That's
and
amazing.
everybody was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And he was incredible.
Okay.
Believe it or not, though, this was his only single.
Wow.
And his only hit.
Hard to believe.
But it's a good song. It's very funny. We will listen to it right after. Also, I don't think we can use any licensed stuff, or Spotify will get angry at us.
I think you're right.
Spotify is kind of a dick. But anyway, movie CB4, which was a Chris Rock movie.
CB4?
CB4.
Okay.
It's like they play a fake like rap group.
Okay.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Ah.
That one fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That
I
movie
only
sucks.
remember the first one.
Well, you probably remember the second one too.
Well, I remember the rap and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't
Super
I don't
Shredder.
remember the movie at all. I remember the first one I watched over and over and over.
The first one gets real depressing in the
It's
middle.
dark.
It gets
Yeah.
very depressing. The third one is when they like go into the future and become samurais for no reason.
Oh, right, yeah.
It really, like, even as a kid, I was like, "Yo, this sucks."
Yeah. I did have the figures though with
Oh
samurai
yeah.
gear in there.
Of course, because that's where it's at. That
Yeah.
stuff was great.
That was dope.
But that was so the movies, and then let's go through. So on March 1st, the NHL expansion team was owned by Disney and got its name.
Okay.
So that's when the Mighty Ducks officially became an NHL team.
Cool.
And then only up until a couple years ago when they were purchased out from Disney and they just became the Ducks. But they still have Mighty Ducks third jerseys now, which is good. They go
Cool.
back to it.
Yeah.
On March 13th, the storm of the century happened. The 93 superstorm, Great Blizzard of 93.
He doesn't like his belly touch. For the listeners, my cat jumped on Dave's lap and they were getting along pretty well. But Dave tried to treat him like a normal cat.
And I got bit.
Unfortunately, my cat is not.
I got fucking bit.
Treat him like you would piranha.
All right. After you. So the Great Blizzard of 93, it stretched from Canada to Honduras. So even the Florida Panhandle got 4 inches of snow.
Wow.
Also, 10 million were out without power in the U.S., and there was 208 fatalities.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about my deodorant before. My panhandle is really wet right now. It's sopping.
So Murph has been taking over our sound equipment now.
My cat's asshole is in my face.
Can you hear it?
To be fair, I requested it.
He's not feeling this podcast.
He's very loving though. He just knocked the mic because he was cuddling it. Okay, so
Storm of the century, people died. March 17th, Tim Allen won a People Choice Award.
Oh boy, what a fall from grace for the Tool Man.
And then on March 31st, Brandon Lee dies on set at 28
Jesus.
of The Crow.
That I still think about that sometimes.
It's
Like, how
insane.
fucked is that?
It's really fucked. A friend of the comic shop actually worked on The Crow and was special effects and was having dinner with the guy who's supposed to pull the blank out
Wow.
the night before. It was loaded in the chamber. So he was like, I'm going to jail. He has a lot of cool stories about the movies he's worked on, but
Yeah.
that was a very interesting one when they all
Presumably-
got the call that they killed Bruce Lee's son.
That guy did go to jail, right? Or how does
I don't
that work?
think so because it wasn't an actual like bullet. It wasn't like it was like a loaded gun. It was like a squib, but it's one that you're not supposed to use aiming at people.
Right.
Because there still is a chance of it projecting some
Yeah.
sort of metal or something, and what projected out of it got him.
Yeah.
So it was just more the people who didn't check the next day
That's
and like the
crazy.
stuff. So I don't know if people went to jail, but I know that the guy he was with got off. But like
Right.
at the same time, he wasn't really too worried about jail, more so than like having the death of a
Yeah.
young man on his hands.
For sure, especially one who is so famous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what a weird movie too, because it's like sort of cements that.
Yes,
in
it does.
history. And it's a dark movie.
Yeah, it's one of the first early, really popular comic book movies.
Yeah. Wild.
All right, so let's get to the book. Let's Get Invisible. March 1993. Just discuss those things. In Russia, this is actually the first book of the Goosebumps series. It's
Really?
labeled as number 1. Interesting thing why I asked to see your book cover. So the cobwebs and the spiders on the original book were doctored in to the Jacobus painting, and they don't know who did it. It was by an unknown scholastic artist.
Weird.
And they added it in without telling them.
And there's a spider.
Yeah. They added in the cobwebs and the spider. And in the reprint in like the late 90s, 2000s, they actually just put the original art on there. They didn't put
okay.
the doctored in stuff, like, so as he wanted it.
Weird
Thing looking at, I have the new art. It's kind of strange because there's like rats in it and stuff. Like there's nothing in the book, and of course there's some cobwebs, but
there were no
feared
rats in the
and
book.
stuff, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Strange.
It's basically the same cover when you look at it. It's a kid. You see the weird light glowing above him, which is a big plot point.
Yeah.
Other thing, the title is a spoof on "Let's Get Physical" by Olivia Newton-John.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like now revisiting this, it sounds like an LCD Sound System song title. Right?
They say it too. There's the point where they say the name of the book.
Yeah,
in it too,
right.
Which,
There it is.
yeah. So that's
Cool.
the book.
Now, Dave, before we start, I have a little game.
I was wondering if you're gonna have one because I didn't have one today.
It's called Let's Get Indivisible, where I quiz you on the U.S. Constitution. No, I don't have a game.
I got real nervous for a second.
Because that would be fun to think about, but in execution, very boring. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I guess let's get into that good old meaty plot. Yeah, so not a lot happens in this book.
Nothing happens in this book.
Yeah.
I mean, you could basically just do the plot. It's like friends meet, find a mirror, and then they challenge each other to see who can stay invisible longer.
Yeah, it's a steady boil. Like it's a few minutes invisible, followed by they keep doubling the time that they stay invisible, and it gets more treacherous each time they do it.
But how do they end up there? Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
What brings us there?
Well, Max has a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Max.
Happy birthday, Max.
Shitty gift givers as friends, right?
Yeah, they are.
They're all, these friends are...
He got like a CD, right?
Well, he got a CD. He also got like his friends like, hey, I gave you some comic books I already read.
Oh, that's right.
They're
yeah.
wet from the
Recycled
rain.
gifts. Yeah.
And then the other kid's like, oh, I forgot my gift. Oh, what did you get me? And she's like, I don't know. I haven't bought it yet. It's just like, fuck you.
Yeah. It was cute to see him run down like... His friends are like, what are we going to do today? And he's like, well, my parents thought we could have a barbecue, but it's raining. Then they thought we would have a tent in the back or something, but it's raining.
We're going to volleyball. We're going to play some volleyball.
Right, yeah.
Instead, she's like, but I went to Blockbuster, and we're going to watch Terminator.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, and I love... So Max, main character,
Yeah.
is obsessed with his hair.
Yes.
Always combing it because he's got tiny ears.
Oh,
And
right.
talks like a greaser and loves Terminator.
Yes.
This book wouldn't have happened if they just let him watch Terminator.
Right, yeah. They would have just been occupied. But instead, they find their way up to the attic because... Who loves attics?
Erin.
Erin loves attics.
So there's two chicks,
Yeah.
as they say, because first person to show up is Zach. Zach is so horny all the time.
Zach is horny and he's kind of sucks. I mean, Max sucks a little bit too, but Max is more reserved than Zach. Zach wants to... Once they find this mirror, Zach is like... all about it. Well, first Max wants to like play a prank on Zach later on, but before we even get there, when they initially all go up into the attic, Whitey, their dog, problematic, finds this hidden room in the back of the attic that they didn't know was there. Later in the book, you find out the parents didn't even know it was there, which is not realistic. And there's a mirror in there. There's an old mirror in there. So
And a very weird light bulb.
and a light bulb, yes. So there's a string. It's a pull chain light.
Yeah.
So you turn that on, and there's a flash, and then it looks like whoever's standing in front of that mirror goes invisible. So that's what Max does, and everybody says, like, you're not there anymore. He's skeptical at first, but then realizes they think they're telling the truth.
Yeah. And at this point, it's just him upstairs with his little brother, Lefty,
Right.
who's named Noah.
I mean... Again, with the unimaginative nicknames. Lefty, because he uses his left hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Max also is like opposite day every day.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he's like, we got a black dog. He's all black. So I call him Whitey, of course.
Yeah, cool
And you're
sense
like,
of humor.
That's hilarious.
He just learned what like irony and sarcasm are.
He's like, I call my little brother Noah. I call him Lefty because he's the only one in my family. He uses that left hand of his.
I like how he's a Goodfellas character.
He is, but he always says stuff. He'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my kid brother.
Yeah.
You and me, we got a problem, us. You and I. Me and you.
Yeah. Hey, come up here, Zach. I'm going to scare the piss out of you.
Hey, Erin, go look up your goddamn skirt. I'm invisible. Also,
Boing, boing.
I think they're supposed to be in, like, the Boston area. And
yeah, right, because they mentioned Springfield.
His sounds like it's written more like a Bronx accent.
Yeah,
but I think it's supposed to be like a like a Bostonian thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
I buy that.
Martha, I'm invisible. Damn it! Was that it?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. One time I was at the beach in Cape Cod, and this lady was yelling for a Martha, but I just thought she was saying Mothra, like because I'm like really into Godzilla. So she was like Mothra. Mothra!
And everyone's fleeing from the beach screaming.
And I'm just like, King Ghidorah! But yeah, so we have Whitey, Max, Lefty, Zach, who likes X-Force. He has intense eyes and looking to fuck. Erin is the blonde, mouse-like girl who has an attic fetish.
Oh, they call her Mouse, too, right?
They say she's mouse-like, yeah. They don't call her... People call her Mouse, but they never actually call her that.
Right,
in the book.
But again, an unimaginative nickname.
April just sucks. She's just shy and has sad eyes and is scared of everything.
I like April because she's the only one who doesn't fuck up in this book. She's always like, you guys shouldn't be doing this. And they all like...
And they're like, keep time, damn it!
Yeah.
She sits down with if she's not keeping time on her watch sitting in the corner, she's just like, what's happening? Oh, no.
Yeah, that is her role in the friend group, is to keep time.
And Erin is just juicing over this attic.
Yeah, she loves the fucking attics.
So because of the party, they go upstairs to play a video game or some 90s bullshit. And she says, what's up there? I love attics.
Yeah, girls love attics.
And he's like, huh? I squinted at her in the dark. Sometimes girls are really weird. I mean, how could anyone love attics? Then they get up in the attic, and she says, ooh, it smells so musty, Erin said, moving past me and taking a few steps into the vast space. She took a deep breath. I love that smell. You're definitely weird, I told her.
A logical response. That's fine. Right. So they're up there. They find the mirror. Max goes invisible. He thinks they're goofing on him. But they find out that it's true. It makes you disappear.
He's drawn back to it.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
That's a spooky aspect of this book. In a book that is otherwise not very scary. That's the pull. Him like getting up in the middle of the night and going up to the attic by himself in like the stillness, quiet of the attic is interesting.
There's a really good description I'll talk about later of him walking up the attic stairs and sneaking around the house as a child.
Yeah.
Which brought me back.
Yeah, same. And trying not to make the floorboards creak.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he's walking up in, I imagine his PJs are just a leather jacket, no shirt, and he's got a switchblade comb.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
he's wearing just tighty whities, and he's strangely well endowed.
I don't want Mom and Dad come and find me, call him a douchebag.
Right. So they haven't gotten to... There is another time when he goes up... He does this several times.
He does this... So this book is just who's invisible and whose turn is it? And it just goes back and forth for 140 pages.
Right, yeah. Because the second time he goes up there and stares at the mirror, you realize there's something like fucked up with the mirror.
And it's calling to him. It's talking to him.
Right.
And he decides not to go invisible. He runs away and he freaks out. But
right.
First time Lefty and him, they go invisible together. And they're like, oh, wow, it really works. And this is when theory confirmed. They can go invisible. Brothers having fun throwing around a baseball as Lefty does with his left hand because he is a lefty. And this is when they realize the longer you are invisible, the longer it takes to come back.
Right.
To activate the reappearance, you need to pull on the chain and turn the light off.
Yeah. So there's Max describes a feeling of the longer you stay invisible, there's this feeling of fading. So he says there's a feeling of like feeling funny. There's a dizziness. He says fluttery a lot. Page 57 has a good description of this. Zach actually says it was awesome, of course, but while he's invisible, he says, I'm starting to feel kind of funny, though, Max. Funny, Erin asked, staring at where Zach's voice seemed to be coming from. What do you mean funny? Kind of dizzy? Everything's kind of breaking up, like a bad TV picture. I mean, you're starting to fade, to seem far away. So, and that's
the scariest part, too.
Yeah.
And when it becomes real for me is when they don't disappear and they start getting scared because it's... I like to think of it a lot like having sex when you're a teenager.
Sure.
It's like, you're really into it and then you get it done. But once you walk away and like your mom's driving you home, you're like, oh my God, she's going to be pregnant and I'm going to have to have a kid. And I don't know what's going to happen. They're going to kick me out of school and they're going to tell my grandma and then she's going to be real upset.
Even going into it too. I mean, depends on your experience. You could just be overtaken by hormones, but I mean, it's going to be awkward. So you're going to get to that. You're going to say like, "Oh man, I really want to fuck," and then it gets to that moment.
Zach and Max seem like those guys.
They do.
Zach is intense. They call him. He has intense blue eyes, and if he doesn't win, he'll like kick shit. Yeah. Zach is the kind of guy that would like call the TV a pussy.
Right. Yeah. Keeps making me watch Golden Girls, fucking pussy.
Yeah. Goddamn TV virgin piece of shit.
I want to watch static porno boobs. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know about any of this. I still haven't had sex.
Really? Mm-hmm. We can fix that.
For the listeners, Dave is reaching under the table.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about a prostitute.
Yeah, no,
that's okay.
Oh, he's just picking up a pen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Cool. So
they go back and forth. They decide to scare Zach. Zach, being very competitive, is just like, I was goddamn the guy who longest on in the visible time, yeah? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, you the best.
Zach is also a greaser?
Yeah, because he's just like, well, okay. Zach isn't a greaser. This is something that's very important to me. Okay, this book was 1993. R.L. Stine invented the Skrillex haircut in this book.
Oh, yes, yeah. Max's mom dunks on Zach pretty hard to his face. She says like, "Oh, that's an interesting haircut."
I have the description, as it says here in my notes. RLS invented the Skrillex.
Yeah.
Tell me this isn't a Skrillex. And again, all the things and descriptions in this book are just for the finale to be like, oh wow, that's what's different.
Yeah.
He says, "Where'd you get that haircut?" My mom asked Zach. She walked up around the table, staring at Zach's head, frowning. I could tell she hated it. At Quick Cuts, Zach told her after swallowing a mouthful of peanut butter and jelly. You know, at the mall. We all studied Zach's haircut. I thought it was kind of cool the way it was buzzed so short on the left, then hung down low on the right. It's different, all right, my mom said. We all could tell she hated it, but I guess she thought she was covering it up by calling it different.
Yeah.
If I came home with a haircut like that, she'd murder me. I love when he's like, "What'd your mom say about it?" And Zach's like, "Not much." But yeah, he's got the first Skrillex.
It's pretty cool. It reminded me of when I was a kid, I really wanted a bowl cut. Like, you know, like,
I had them.
Like kids got it like shaved on the side. It was like a number 1 on the side, and then it was like a hard stop.
Oh, like yeah.
And it was like long everywhere else and parted down the middle.
Do that though.
It wouldn't. It just bushes up. But I could make it like if you cut it really short on the sides. But my parents wouldn't let me do that stark difference. It had to be like faded.
You should do it now. You should live your dream.
They also wouldn't let me get Adidas Sambas.
Really?
Yeah, because I had flat feet.
Me too. And that's why I only had them.
That's why you had them?
Yeah.
I needed an arch. They didn't really have an arch in there.
That's why I had them, because I had flat feet. For me, it was all Airwalks and Adidas Sambas.
Yeah. I had to get like special shoes.
Oh, really?
Where they put in like special arches.
I feel like weird Goosebumps characters, like as kids.
Yeah.
Everybody has these really weird things. I wasn't looking to fuck like Zach, but...
No.
Speaking of which, this is what I think is very interesting. Okay, you have a really creepy basement here. Have you explored it?
It's horrendous. Yeah, I've explored it.
Well, we should explore it with flashlights and maybe film just to show everybody. We'll do a walkthrough for our YouTube channel.
We can.
Which, by the way, we have a YouTube channel, which you may not have noticed, but we just posted our second brewery video.
Yeah.
Check
that out.
Yeah, we do beer reviews. Yeah. Welcome to the brewery, return of the brewery. We did autumn beers and winter beers.
Yeah. We have a special interview with Ryan Gosling up there.
Yeah.
We have all the audio of our podcast up there. So give a little subscribe. It'd be appreciated.
We got that YouTube, but maybe we'll do a walkthrough of your creepy basement.
Yeah, so there's...
Like Ghost Hunters.
It's really low. My apartment was built in 1900, so it's a very low, small basement with like rickety stairs that go down. The walls are stone, and it smells like wet.
Erin would make Erin just like the smell.
Yes, it would. There's a well in the basement. Once in a while I'll find a dead mouse. It's very exciting.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say we go down there, we reach down the well, and we find an invisibility machine.
Right. I would just shine it on my balls. To just have a shaft.
Okay. I was going to say, like, the first thing these kids think of, and, like, instantly, because I have no faith in the world, the first thing I thought of is, like, oh, they're going to want to go to, like, the girls' locker room. This is, like, a Porky situation.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that they come up
Well,
with.
Zach does, yeah.
Zach does. Well, no, Zach wants to go there, but Lefty even says, like, we could go spy on girls.
Oh, yeah. Which I think, I don't know, I guess in the early 90s, they mean it like in a, I don't know, innocent enough way, but there's no way for it to really be innocent. What you're doing is...
Okay, what I was going to say is we find this invisibility machine. What's the first thing we do? What's the first thing you would do?
Okay. Truthfully, the first thing I would do is see if I could just get the top half of my body invisible and then take off my bottoms. So I'd just be legs and a dick.
That's horrific.
It would be horrifying.
You live really close to a library.
Yeah.
I would definitely just go full invisible and then just hang out in the library and scare old people.
Oh, push books off the shelves and whatnot? Yeah, that's cool.
And I would just be like, woo. Or I would try to get in the news. Just like go to like, I don't know, like a Radio Shack's not around anymore. I don't know why I picked that first thing. I'd go to like Chipotle.
Go to a circuit city.
And I would just be like, I am the ghost of George Washington. And just like try to get it all over the internet of like people waiting for the ghost of George Washington to show up at Chipotle.
That's very fitting because I live 0.2 miles from a Chipotle.
Yeah.
It's by the Starbucks now. And this was George Washington's route, this street right over here, when he crossed the Delaware.
So it's perfect.
Yeah, ideal.
So, okay, if anyone sees anything about George Washington being naked at a Chipotle. It'd be really funny if you just like squat and poop on the table. And he's like, I'm George Washington. I saved that poop from...
Oh, yeah, I guess your shit would be visible once it's out of your body, right?
It's weird rules. At one point, somebody like drinks something. They drink a Coke.
Right, and it
disappears once it goes in the mouth.
Right.
So there's one way to make your wiener disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go in there and I'd just be like, chorizo is back.
I would probably take turns doing a magic show like us. We'd be at like Las Vegas and be like, I can make a poop disappear out of midair.
Right.
Or just like you just fit like a crow in your ass and then you just like it flies out and they're like, whoa, right. Le prestige.
Yeah.
So the plot. So Zach at that point decides, as Skrillex, he decides that he was the invisible the most out of everybody in the world.
Because Zach, you never know.
He's always greasing his hair back. And
yeah. He's
just
greasing
like,
his body.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sliding across the floor like a slug.
Mm-hmm. So they get invisible and they want to beat the record, but the longer you stay there, the longer it takes to come back. And every time it takes a while for people to come back, they always hit that point where maybe they won't.
Right.
Which freaks him out. Then he starts feeling that pull. Really bad. Max starts feeling that pull and gets nervous. Like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And at this point, the record is broken by Lefty.
Yeah. So he's been invisible for the longest.
He was invisible for like 10 minutes when Grandma and Grandpa came.
Yeah.
Grandma and Grandpa, very funny characters.
They're cool.
They're just like, Grammy and Poppy just shit on each other. And they are kind of like Saturday Night Live characters. And they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. They're great.
They don't
just
matter.
talk about soup.
They talk about soup and like, remember the time we had a cold soup made out of strawberries? And like, that was a yogurt, honey. It's like, no, fuck. It was a soup. It's a cold soup.
Yeah.
Because the Grammy was just like, no one likes cold soup. And he's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
They were very funny. Also, they owned the house before them. So they were like, maybe they left it because a lot of the stuff in the attic was from them.
Right.
But they also had no idea.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that kind of thing to be like,
just
Grandpa,
some explanation.
The wizard.
Yeah. But
no explanation. We didn't need one. I mean, we needed something. This book, nothing really happens.
No.
So Lefty decides to prank them by lifting soups up in the air and stuff. And nobody notices, but he stays way too long and constantly does this. The next morning, they're going to go to Springfield. He does it again and then disappears, and he has to go shut off the light to find him. But when he comes back, he's just odd. Yeah,
he seems different. And he's written... this is nice. In a book that I didn't overall love, and especially the writing quality pales in comparison to the previous book we read.
Yeah. Or even Mummy.
Yeah.
It's just not as...
It's just not there.
Yeah.
But the description of Lefty, just like subtle differences, like his tone is different. The way he speaks, his dialogue is a little bit different. So you're just a little uneasy, and Max raises an eyebrow to this.
That's the only thing I really like when people come back from the mirror after being there for too long, it's like you ever hanging out with friends that just start making inside jokes to like a minute ago, and there's a person that's like, ha, yeah, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're all like, well, that was a little weird.
Right.
That was a kind of cool detail.
Yeah.
But so it turns out when you're there for too long, they come back and they're a little weird.
Yeah.
So he decides to cancel the contest on Wednesday where everyone's going to come over and try to beat each other's scores for who can stay invisible the longest.
But Lefty reaches out to his friends again and says, oh, it's back on.
Yeah. And he's not even there. He's out playing baseball with his
Yeah.
friends. So it's just a surprise for Zach that his buddies came through to play Invisible Game.
Yeah. So, but this weirdness then happens to Zach. He's invisible for like 12 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's not there for a minute. He doesn't respond. And then he comes back, but he's a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Then it happens with Erin. The only person that is reasonable is April.
Yeah.
Because she's just like sad and taking time in the back.
Just sitting down and taking time.
Yeah.
And looking at her watch and just being
Yeah.
like, can we go home yet?
Yeah.
One thing that they noticed too, they realized that that Zach is off because his Skrillex haircut goes to the other side. Mm-hmm. And he's like, wasn't it long on the left? And he's like, it was the other way. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. And he's like, I guess you would know your own hair.
Yeah. And they allude to that. Then it's to the point where they force Max in front of the mirror. And they're like, you're
Yeah.
going to beat the record now. And it's
Right.
weird that they were calling him a pussy and shit and just like, spitting in his face and slapping him and calling him small dick. And
Yeah.
they just put him in front of the mirror and they make him stand there and he's just hanging out. And that's when the pull gets even stronger and he keeps asking to get pulled back.
Yeah.
But his mom comes up and asks what they're doing there. And that's when he gets sucked into the mirror.
Right. Yeah. So the culmination is he gets sucked into the mirror. It's described as like white and soundless, and he sees like faces all over the place. Faces, some of which are his friends. And he sees there, he meets himself, but it's his reflection. So his reflection becomes sentient and real and wants to take his place.
Yes.
So presumably, Zach's been taken over by his reflection, Erin's been taken over by her reflection, etc. And they're replacing all the kids.
Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get all their buddies, their mirror buddies,
Right.
to the good side.
Max manages to run away, and he runs far enough where he busts out of the mirror.
Because I think somebody pulls the switch.
Right, yeah.
There's also a part where they pull the switch trying to get Zach back,
Yeah,
and the chain breaks.
right.
But then Erin's able to climb up on a box and
pull the chain.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's off the chain, but
Yeah.
2 chains. So he comes back and he's really nervous, and then Lefty comes up, and it's to the point where they're like, "No, you're one of us." And they look in the mirror, and Max's shadow is just up at it, like yelling at him.
Yeah, yeah.
But then stupid Lefty comes up, and he's like, "Catch!" and throws his ball that he throws the whole
Yeah.
thing at it. The mirror shatters, and Zach and Erin get sucked into the mirror, and the
Yeah.
real ones get queefed
That
out.
solves it. Yeah, yeah, right. That's it. All they had to do was break the mirror. That's kind of it, right? That's the resolution.
Good description is that Lefty is at the door, hanging onto the door the whole time and doesn't enter the room. And he says he's hanging onto the door frame. He's so scared. After this book happens, everyone goes home. They forget about it. They go to play catch. He wants to play catch with his younger brother just to take his mind off. He notices that Lefty is throwing righty.
Right.
And that's how the book ends.
So you think he was holding on to not get sucked in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was because I was like, Lefty is obviously one of them. He's the
Right.
first one.
Yeah.
But when I noticed a lot of description of him hanging onto the door.
Right.
So, little.
Do you think they're necessarily bad, the reflections?
I don't
Or they
think
just want
so.
their time in the sun?
They just want they're locked in this mirror. Like, we listened to what the mirror people had to live with. Just colors and ugly faces.
Yeah.
Just boogity faces going like a boogity boogity.
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
That's no life.
Yeah. Also, if you were stuck in the most boring Goosebumps book that we've read, would you be upset?
Yeah. No. That would be fine. I'd be able to see, well, I guess nobody's really using that mirror. But I don't know. If you could see people stand in front of it and like people like look at their butthole in the mirror and stuff. Like, that'd be fine.
You could just Google a butthole. Like right now.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to do the work. I want these opportunities to present themselves.
Is there a sequel to this one? I don't think there is, right?
No.
There's not like Let's Get Invisible Again
No, yeah, no.
or Let's Keep Being Invisible.
Right, yeah, no. Let's get, what's the opposite of invisible? Visible.
Visible. Yeah.
Let's get visible.
Let's get out visible.
Yeah, right. What did you like in this book, description wise?
I said that there's a really interesting character voice, and I know like it's supposed to be that Bostonian accent, but it's not. And he just says some weird shit like when he's talking about Zach, this is why I think he's a greaser. He's like, he's sort of an intense guy, not nervous, just keyed up, and very competitive. He has to win at everything. If he comes in second place, he gets really upset and kicks the furniture. You know the kind.
You know the kicking furniture kind?
It's just how he says stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's my kid brother.
Yeah. There's a lot of exclamations, which I hate. Like, he says on page 24, "What a crash!" exclamation point. Page 68, "What a mystery!" Page 75, "What a goof!" Like, again and again, it's
What
truly
an ass.
insane. Yeah. What a hog on that kid. Hey, Lois. Right? Isn't the Family Guy like a... That's Boston, right?
Yeah. Are we doing accents now?
I was just doing my...
Yeah, baby.
World...
Yeah.
Both of our world famous...
yeah, baby.
Yeah, what else do we got?
Donkey. Somebody stop me.
Smile can.
So I really like this description on page 27 of the nightlights.
Yeah.
Because all of the men in this are very masculine and they're all trying to like one up everybody. The whole point of this is just the most competitive like soccer kids.
Yeah.
And it says the house was dark except for the tiny nightlight down by the floor just outside Lefty's bedroom. Lefty was the only one in the family who ever got up in the middle of the night. He insisted on having a nightlight in his room and one in the hall, even though I made fun of him about it as often as I could.
Right.
Now I was grateful for the light and I made my way on tiptoe to the attic stairs. So it's just like, even though I was being so careful, the floorboards squeaked under my feet. It's just impossible not to make noise in an old house. And it talks about how he was like holding really hard onto the railing so that he could make his feet lighter. And I'm like, I used to sneak around at night and try to get stuff. I used to do the same thing.
For sure.
Very kids description. I like that. Anything else you liked?
I like the sights and smells of the attic. So when Erin like gets real fucking ramped up about the attic, she says, "Ooh, it smells musty." But it says before that, about halfway up, the air grew hot and dry. There's all kinds of junk up there. "It smells so musty," Erin said, moving past me and taking a few steps into the vast space. She took a deep breath. I love that smell. There's the rain drumming loudly against the roof. The sound echoed through the low room, a steady roar. It sounded as if we were inside a waterfall. I like that. It does put you in the setting. I think that was effective.
One of my favorite things was the sibling rivalry and just kind of like having a brother and just pushing him around.
Yeah.
Because there's points where they just get lost in being shitty to each other, even though they're in front of something that literally makes you invisible, which is phenomenal and crazy.
Yeah.
But on page 32, it says, I turned and shoved him back a few steps. "Get out of my face," I said. "Your breath stinks."
Oh, yeah.
They started another stupid argument, of course. I was sorry I'd ever come up here. I should have stayed in bed, I realized. Finally, I persuaded him to stand a foot away from me. A major victory.
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing, which is so funny about parents, where there's like these parents are the first kind of like good parents.
Yeah.
We don't really get a lot of dad, but...
No, but the mom is always like, "Why are you up there?" She definitely thinks they're doing like sex stuff.
Maybe.
She's like, "You're playing with that mirror," or like looking at porno magazines or something.
Maybe. Because they said they found weird magazines.
Yeah, right. And
but
she's
it turned out to be like old time magazines.
Yeah, it was like Life with JFK on the cover.
This also sounds like he's a greaser. "Sometimes I wish I could pound him, but we live in a non-violent family."
Oh,
and I was like, what the hell is that? That's
That
so
was
lame.
weird.
And then it was like, that's what mom and dad say every time Lefty and I get in a fight. "Break it up, you two. We live in a non-violent family."
Yeah, that was really strange.
Sometimes non-violence can be real frustrating. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's very funny. I can see like very 90s TV families being like, "We're non-violent here. You gotta stop."
That does sound like the description in the beginning of Goodfellas, where like Ray Liotta's like, "I grew up in a non-violent family.
Yeah.
Now I take Chantix. Thanks, Chantix. I stopped smoking because I'm a smart guy."
It's very good.
Thank you. That's my Ray Liotta impression.
I got Spying on Girls. RLS invented the Skrillex.
I think the best description and the most effective parts of the book are when they're describing the pull of the mirror and fading away and breaking apart from life.
Same.
So losing control, losing sense of reality, like literally floating off the ground. So there's a ton of examples like this. The first time Max does this and he stays like that for a while, his voice sounds, quote, tiny and shaky.
Yes.
Always the voice sounds like far away. It gets worse and worse.
It seems like it took hours for the reply from Zach.
Yes. Yeah, you don't know that you're communicating. It's like talking to someone and you hear your voice back in the phone, like on Bluetooth. Exactly, it's like,
yeah.
are you hearing what I'm saying? Or like, page 47, it says, I was starting to feel weird again, sort of dizzy and lightheaded, and the bright light was hurting my eyes, starting to blind me. I leaned against the mirror and reached up for the chain. I suddenly felt very tired, very weak. It took all my strength to wrap my hand around the chain. I had the strangest sensation that the mirror was pulling me, tugging me toward it, holding me down. And with a burst of strength, he pulls the chain. But that description gets worse and worse. There's a ton of examples of it.
Page 69 had some good ones.
Yeah, like even Zach says it's like a bad TV picture, breaking up. It's
but the light was so bright, so blindingly bright. Wave of yellow light rolling over me. Ocean waves of light sweeping me away with it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
It's good. I like that.
And those are the scariest parts, too.
They were. I also like that this is the first time that kids have found something and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be fucking famous.
Yeah.
But they think about it.
Yes. I made a note of this too. It's very smart.
Page 86 is Erin says she wants to bring it to school and win the science fair.
Which I understand that. That's
fine. But like, what's the science behind it?
Right.
Like, look what I found.
Yeah.
But Zach being, well, not Zach, Max being who he is, he says, but they'll take away the mirror, I explained. It's an amazing thing, Erin. I mean, is it magic? Is it electronic? Is it someone's invention? Whatever it is, it's unbelievable. And they're not going to just let a kid keep it. But it's yours, she insisted. They'll take it away to study it. Scientists will want it. Government guys will want it. Army guys. They'll probably want to use it to make the army invisible or something. Scary, Erin mumbled thoughtfully. Yeah, scary, I said. So,
yeah.
Pretty smart.
Smart on Max's point, on Max's part to be like, people are going to do stuff with this.
And I just realized that this kind of speaks back to how his favorite movie is Terminator and how he just went through Terminator the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
He's on the lookout for Skynet.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Very good.
What's Miles Dawes? What's that guy's name who like gets shit on in Terminator 2? Who like he gets shot, then he gets taken to
I forget.
to Skynet, whatever, and like then he blows himself up. He does I always think of the breathing where he's like,
oh,
you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah. Did anything else you liked?
I like the whisper part when he goes up by himself and then decides he's like, mirror's canceled because like, I guess what we're thinking is it's either one of his friends or Lefty or his reflection is whispering to him. Yeah, that's cool. But then, do you have any bad stuff?
Yeah. Again. Pets get shit on with RL, 90s RL. He calls Whitey the dumb dog constantly. The dog didn't do anything. In this book, he only finds the door. He's like pretty well behaved. He goes invisible once because they're idiots.
And gets scared.
From it. But page 8, the dumb dog. Page 92, page 102, and 110, the dumb dog. So I don't like that. That's stupid.
If you're a dog,
yeah,
you'd be real pissed off reading this.
Don't be in a Goosebumps book. There's this tepid sarcasm that I hate that you were talking about before, where, you know, I'm like, my dog's black, so of course I named him Whitey. But of course, like, my kid brother has a great sense of humor, or talk about your short attention span, like these little one-off nothing comments that I hate so much.
He's such a douchey, like he's exactly that character voice we're doing.
Yeah.
He's like, the kind of guy who will like punch you in the dick and just be like, yeah, your dad's gay.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like,
you call that a sense of humor, you fucking mook?
Yeah, he's the kind of guy who's on like Instagram right now just being like, why can't I just call her a broad?
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, dude, go away.
You're too sensitive. All I said was I like them big titties.
So I talked about, there's little things like he just needs ellipsis. Every now and then there's sentences that just... Like this, he says, this is the whole sentence. He always has to be tossing a ball around, drumming his hands on the table, hitting something, running around, falling down, leaping into things, wrestling with me. And then it just
Right, it
stops.
ends.
But I'm like, you can do ellipsis. And then it says, you get the idea. But it's
Yeah.
like, I know it's a kid's book. And this book is, I think more than anything, this is the first book I feel like was rushed.
It does feel
It feels like
rushed.
he needed something and he just blew through it.
Yeah.
Because even R.L. Stein kills it at insulting people, which if you check our Instagram, you can see recently he had half an hour. Anyone can ask him a question on Twitter, and he only answered some. One of the ones he answered was somebody asking how somebody got a haunted sponge, and he just wrote, "I think you need to get a life."
Right.
He's like, I have half an
Which I
hour to
love.
insult somebody.
Yeah.
And then he's been posting the weirdest Christmas stuff of like, here's my uncle. Like,
That is bonkers.
So funny.
Please check out our Instagram and look at this post that he made of
He's
like
the man.
Yeah, it's so of like this strange. It's very like Pulp Fiction gimp. Like this
It
like
rules.
man sitting on Santa's lap wearing just underwear. Like it's so bizarre.
good. R.L. Stein is going to be like I think we're going to grow up to be R.L. Steins.
I would love to be.
Because think about it, what we put online, like nobody would find this, but
Yeah.
you know, you'd find something like, oh, that's very nice, and then
Yeah.
meanwhile, R.L. Stein's just like, you know, just like farting on his dog, and like screaming around, and yeah.
He's plugged
one thing is he wasted all of his good insults.
Yeah.
There's no good
Well,
ones.
there's none in here.
It's like, that was dumb, I whispered to Lefty. You almost broke the mirror. You're dumb, he said. Typical.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you stink, he said, picking up the softball. I was used to it. He said it 100 times a day.
Yeah.
They always call you're like, you're stupid. No, you're stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you stink.
It
And they
goes
say
as
that
far, yeah. And then one of them would be like good one, and it's like, ugh. It's just like I said. There's that tepid sarcasm is exhausting.
Greaser talk. Weird speak. He calls him his kid brother. He also says, I thought you guys were just putting me on. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's another sentence where a comma should be a period. I think that was actually wrong because they capitalized the sentence after the comma.
Oh, okay.
So that's just, I think that's editor
mistake.
printing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, he says that I need to find this. Because you know how we said, like, how there was, like, his mouth made, like, an O of alarm.
Oh, surprise.
You know, it was, what's it called? Don't Stay Out of the Basement, where the guy gets murdered, and it's the most brutal scene, and it's like, he was halved. But
Yeah.
he's just like, he let out a little yelp or something.
Yeah.
Where is it? It's on page 49. And they said, wow, Zach exclaimed, and his mouth remained in a tight O of surprise and wonder.
And,
Wow.
And O is just the letter O.
Yeah.
It's not OH.
I love how it's wow, because he says it twice, but I always think of, what's his face? From, oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
ShamWow.
No. The from Zoolander and other movies. He's got a broken nose.
Oh, yeah. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
He's always like,
wow.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's funny too. He says wow, and it's an exclamation point, and then wow, period.
Yeah.
Again.
And I just wrote that there's a million fragments in this one. Like, he'll just be like, I stopped, period, and waited, period.
Yeah.
And then something happened, period.
Yeah. It's too much.
But what, period? It's just, I get it. It's cool. I would either rather see him just drop it down to its own line, indent it or something.
Make it its own.
And just italics something, but.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much the whole book.
That's it. I think there's one thing I wanted to mention, which is I think you could argue that this book is a good allegory for death. In just in that transition from I'm here, I'm corporeal, to then I'm losing control, and now I'm gone.
Also, the bright light.
And the
One
bright
thing
light.
I don't think we mentioned is that, well, they see they're getting pulled away, but the light bulb above them gets brighter and brighter.
Yeah.
And he says, even when I close my eyes, I can still see it.
It blinds them until there's just a white world. On page 127, this is the best description that comes to my defense in this argument. And it says, floating deeper into this glimmering world, I could barely hear myself. Deeper into the mirror and still deeper. The colors gave way to shapes of gray and black. It was cold here, cold as glass. And as I floated deeper, deeper, the grays and blacks faded too. The world was white now, pure white all around, shadowless white as far as I could see. So, yeah, he says, I'm too frightened to call out, too mystified by the cold ivory world I had entered. So just this transitioning, this moving to a different plane, unable to communicate with that other world, that's always frightening. Even when they're still in the real world, as we mentioned, they find it difficult to say like, hey, turn the chain off. Like, I've had enough of this. But now he's gone too far and he's moved on, and he's going to be replaced now by someone and forgotten, right? Because
I thought of the themes of peer pressure, teenager, puberty, stuff like that, about how it's always the two boys, the two girls, the little brother who's younger than them trying to come up, but it's always them trying to one up and look a certain way, and that he knows it's wrong, but he doesn't want to be seen as a wimp. He wants to hang with the boys and hang with the girls, and that really that progresses the plot more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's I mean, the whole thing is the contest, that's all peer pressure. Like, they're calling each other chicken and stuff like that. Yeah. Page 132 says, like, he's lost inside this blank world, unable to see, to hear, to smell, to touch anything, lost in the cold glass forever. That's just a description of death.
Yeah.
Also, the time, like the 12 minutes, you could argue is like a lifespan. Like, you start out here, then you slowly fade, and then you're fucking gone.
You go right towards the light.
Yeah.
And then you're replaced. Yeah.
And forgotten. In this case, they'd just be, the real them would be forgotten. They're replaced by somebody who looks like you. So that's, if that was a thought at all, then it's, that's pretty nice. But but I don't know that it was.
I think this was a rush one. I think he had a decent idea, and it's a cool thing, the mirror and the invisible and stuff. But I would have liked to see, instead of them being pulled away with it, maybe them actually going places or trying to do things with it.
Yeah.
Or even the reveal of the shadow people more, just not that late.
Yeah.
Add more of a threat to it, because it was just kind of, a lot of it was just fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
But when they're afraid of the unknown and we just kind of have an idea of it, it goes on for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's that time.
It's that time for Spook and Scare Best Dressed alternate title.
All right.
So
what's your scare?
My scare is my scare is, I think, just all the times he's drawn back to the attic. So whenever he wakes up in the middle of the night, and he sort of robot-like, he automatons his way back to the attic and just sits in front of it. Page 90. Is that? Oh yeah, that's what we've Dave and I have talked about this page before. This is when Max feels this draw to the attic, and he goes up there and he sits there and he stares at the mirror. He says, I don't know how long I sat there, still as a statue, watching my own unmoving reflection. It might have just been a minute or two, or it might have been half an hour. But then he sees like shapes in the mirror. He hears that whisper. He hopes it won't follow him. This is a moment too where I was like, is this his little brother whispering?
That's what I was, yeah.
But it's not.
Another red herring, I forgot to say, they always check the back of the mirror all the time, and like, it's too dark to see anything.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of really good misdirection on R.L. Stein's part. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. What's yours?
Mine was the first time that he realized maybe they can't get back. It was when Lefty and him did the nighttime invisibility run. So it says, try it again, Max, he whined. Please hurry. This is when they're already turned the light off.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, just try and stay calm, okay? Stay calm. How? Lefty wailed. What if we never get back? What if no one can ever see us ever again? I suddenly felt so sick. My stomach just sort of heaved.
Yeah.
Get a grip, I told myself. You've got to keep it together, Max, for Lefty's sake. And it's just him realizing that this is bad for the first time.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of moments where I actually felt like stress when they're not coming back.
Because this is when he also tries to be the older brother, and it doesn't really... He's like, I got to keep it together. But meanwhile, he's shitting his pants.
He wants to be composed. That's like Zach tries to stay composed and be like, I'm a cool guy, but then he's shitting his pants.
Best dressed. Who you got?
I'm going to go with my buddy, Mr. Evander, on page 115.
Who?
Mr. Evander. So it says...
we didn't even say this part of the plot.
There's a part where Zach actually does leave the attic and he goes to his neighbor's yard and he juggles tomatoes. And Mr. Evander is there to take notice. But he is described, Mr. Evander is described as a guy out in his tomato garden, stooped over, pulling up weeds, his big belly hanging out from under his t-shirt, his red bald head shiny under the sun. So Zach juggles these tomatoes, and he goes, "Oh!" he cried, and he says, "Hey, Mary, 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 come out here! You've got to see this, Mary." And then she says, "Mike, what's wrong? What's wrong? Look, these tomatoes are twirling in the air." And of course, nothing's there. And this happens again and again. And Mrs. Evander divorces him and says, like, you have a. She also like makes fun of his genitalia. Says like, you have a really small dick. It's pretty fucked up. And then he kills Mrs. Evander and buries her in the tomato garden.
But they make her invisible so that the fake...
That's true.
But
the cops never come.
They kill her because they say she's a vampire because her reflection's dead.
Yeah. Who's yours?
It's a team of Grammy and Poppy.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Because they look alike, almost like brother and sister. I guess that's what happens when you've been married 100 years. They both have long, thin faces and short white hair. They both wear thick glasses with silver wire frames. They're both really skinny, and they both have sad eyes and sad expressions.
Yeah.
The thing I like about it is that it can confirm that they're inbred, and that's why they're upstairs, because... I mean, they're so translucent from the inbreeding that they're albinos. And when the light turns on, they go invisible.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like that their grandpa and grandpa are like brother and sister and fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It is hot, right?
It's very hot.
Cool. They were actually my runner-up. At first, I was like, oh, definitely Grammy and Poppy. But then I was like, Mr. Evander's got his tummy hanging out. What's your alt title?
Tickle fight.
That's great. Oh, man.
Everybody tickle fights in this book.
They do. I had a few. I had Houtini, which should be who-teen-I.
Houtini?
Because they're like little magicians, but they're teens.
Okay.
I just wrote magic fucking stinks. Yeah, and let's get invisible. Anyway,
that's the one I was waiting for. Let's get invisible. All right. And with that, we'll say a boo dudes after we do our Goosebumps death for our 5-star review.
Let's shout out Jtron for the win, right?
Jtron for the win.
Jtron, thank you for 5-starring us.
Thank you for giving us 5 stars.
Yeah, we love your stars.
5 fingers of that fist of love.
Yeah, baby.
I like that you're holding your microphone right now like you're going to sing a song.
I was just...
All right, so let's say his Goosebumps death. He gets 2 Goosebumps deaths.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
You got one? Or you
Nope.
running through it?
But let's just do it.
Okay.
Jtron, when I think about what would happen if you died, if you were to perish in the Goosebumps universe, I think your name sounds like you do a lot of dance competitions. So I think here you are, you walk into your breakdance county competition, right? So you have a dance team. You're called J Squad. Which is from Edge of Tomorrow, featuring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. It's a great movie.
Okay.
J Squad, you hit the stage. You guys are fucking killing it. You're doing backflips. You're doing stunts. You're Jackie Channing. You're John Wicking. You are Michelle Kwanning. You are really just going to ape out there. You're doing a great job. You, in particular, come out with a prop. So part of your routine after you do a little fly break dance, people say fly still, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. Sounded natural when I said it?
Oh, sound great.
Great. So you bring out this tiny, like a child's trampoline, because you got to get some fucking leverage. You're going to do the sickest backflip anyone's ever seen. You run up to do the backflip. Somebody puts out their hands in a little cup so you can like use your... Like, you know, they're going to give you some leverage so you can get that foot up there. And then on top of that, your other foot hits the trampoline. Doesn't work in theory. Sounds like it wouldn't work. It does for you. Right? So you go...
Oh, my God. It's still coming.
You go sky fucking high. Here's the problem, J-Tron. J-Squad has lifted you so fucking far, and with that trampoline, you overestimated or underestimated how far it would bring you, so you go through the roof. Here's the thing, you're fine. You land on the roof with no problem. You're looking good. You actually land it, and everyone through the hole that you've made can see you, and they clap for you. Right? Here's the problem. An owl comes down. An owl comes down with its talon, rips your brain out.
Oh, okay. So
I
that's
mean,
one way to die.
It's unfortunate. It happens in the real world. Google it.
Yeah.
This owl took your brain. Only part of it, but it's part that you need.
Yeah, so you're dead.
So you've died. Your body slumps back through the hole and falls back onto the stage. You land in a chair, though, and you look like you planned it, kind of. So you guys still win first place. And that's how you die in the Goosebumps universe. Thank you for 5 stars.
That had more plot points than the book we read. Mine is you were going to hang out with your friends, and they decided to go whale watching, but you thought you were going to go roller skating. So you're wearing your roller skates on the whale watching boat, and you hit a wave, and because you're standing there, you just go flying back on the boat all the way to the end. You pop out as the whale's popping out. Your head gets stuck in its blowhole, but it's a magic ghost whale. And it does its little spurt, and it goes, and it fires your whole skeleton out your butthole. And then, but because it's a ghost whale, you're in the fog as this magic skeleton, and you're like a pirate skeleton, and you haunt whale watching boats.
Oh,
as a ghost.
That's cool.
A ghost skeleton.
Yeah, they'll make a movie about it.
Also, that whale wears your skin as a fun hat.
Ooh,
like
that's
a little do-rag.
A little Peter Pan do-rag.
Yeah, that's real
nice.
cute. Well, thanks for 5 stars.
Yeah. Thank you, J-Tron.
If you would like to die in our Goosebumps universe,
that's right.
Give us a 5-star review. We got some more that we're going through, so
hit us up.
We'll get we figured we can do multiple, but I think it's more fun to have 2 sides of the coin for.
Let's do one at a time. Yeah, everyone gets 2 deaths.
We got 62 books, not including specials. So
yeah, cool. I think that's it.
Yeah, that lasted way longer than I expected it to for a book with nothing that happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb shit to talk about again and again.
All right. Cool. We'll have a scary New Year.
Yeah.
Slappy New Year, I meant.
Right. Enjoy all your blowholes, and J Squad, shout out to you.
This one's for J Squad.
Boo dudes.
Boo dudes.
Bye.
See ya.